Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is the Shankly Sessions, the Liverpool podcast we bring you each and every week on the upper tier. If you could smash that subscribe and bell notification button, and of course drop a like on the video as well. This is your Liverpool versus Fulham preview. I'm in work, stuck in work today. Won't get time later to do this, so this is a recorded one going out. Unusual, we've been doing so many lives. Really appreciate your support on the channel and all. It's been absolutely fantastic. Got away with it there the other day, 4-3 against Spurs, an absolute game of madness as well. We should have been out of sight by half time, rested on our laurels after 3, let Spurs back into the game. Became a kind of a nasty, feisty kind of affair. Jurgen Klopp reacting as well, not in the way that you would expect now, especially after what happened last time with officials, but his frustration was boiling over at what was going on in the game. But now we have a big one again now. 7 points off United is the target, obviously, and playing the day before could put a bit of pressure on them. We could reduce the gap to 4, them going into a tricky little away game against Brighton. So anything can happen there. We've got 5 games to go to try and claw back 7 points. Seems an impossible task, but as long as mathematically we can do it, we have to believe that we're still in that top 4 race. Thursday night football just so unappealing for us, and especially for us as content creators as well. Thursday and Sunday's really not appealing at all with what we have to do. But this is a big one. This is going to be a tricky one. You remember the opening day of the season at Craven Cottage, we thought we'd just ghost in there and coast in and have our way, but it wasn't to be. Mitrovic was unbelievable on the day. Palhinha as well in midfield, absolutely unbelievable for Fulham. These are the dangerous people. Mitrovic, of course, out, 10-game ban over the incident with the referee will absolutely help us. But we've seen Fulham in recent weeks where they have struggled. It's been very tight affairs, losing 1-0 to Aston Villa. No shame on that, really. Aston Villa on the tear up till the United game the other day. Very disappointing in that game. But also the Man City game at the weekend as well. They showed that they're more than capable of hanging with the big boys, and they certainly made Man City earn their 3 points. They had Arsenal at one stage believing at 1-1 that maybe it could happen. Vinicius with the equaliser with Haaland with the penalty early on. So they are dangerous, Fulham. There is a contrast in terms of how they play home and away. Home they play a kind of a more open, expansive kind of football, but when they're away they're quite tight and they sit in. So I'm thinking for this game we might have to be a little bit more patient, and the Anfield crowd are going to have to be a little bit understanding of that and not get too nervous early on if things aren't going our way or we aren't actually breaking them down with an early goal and stuff like that. This is going to be a game for calm and patience. We've gone through 2 really chaotic games that really we should have put to bed, where we let the opposition back in, and I think we need to smarten up and tighten up at the back. And midfield as well needs to be doing their job a little bit better defensively and stuff like that to help that back 4 as well, or back 3 at times. So I think it's really important that on Wednesday, patience is a virtue and patience is a key in this one. We don't want to go too hell for leather in this one. They can punish you. They are dangerous. But we need to keep this run going at the moment now. Last 6 games, 2 draws and 4 wins. We're going for a 5th win on the bounce now. More like the form we expect from this team, not like early on in the season or throughout the season where it's been win, loss, win, draw, all haphazard and stuff like that. No flow to the game and stuff like that. But we should have more than enough to do Fulham in this game. If you have a look at the team news at the moment, for us, obviously Stefan is out and Calvin Ramsey is out as well. I don't think there'll be a lot of changes here from the gaffer. I think he'll keep it fairly more of the same. I think it's really important from that point of view. We do know, and it looks on the face of it, let me know if you agree, where he's going through a kind of an assessment of the squad, where he's giving players time to really feel whether they're the ones that are up for the mark, whether they're going to absolutely make it. So let's see what happens there as well. I would imagine Curtis will continue in his role. Obviously Thiago picking up a knock or a muscle injury or whatever it was out of the game there the other day. So I'd imagine he'll continue with Curtis in there. The question is, will he give Harvey another run? This is a game that could open up nicely for Harvey and show his real positivity and some of his real key attributes. It's a better game in terms of what he can deliver, as opposed to, you know, a tough game there against Spurs and stuff like that. We know how strong their midfield can be. So this game might lend itself better to Harvey being in there as well. And I think he'll probably go maybe with no changes. The other kind of conundrum at the moment is how Diaz reacted to that awful tackle from Skip. And of course we know the gaffer was on a mad one over it. Lots of talk going around the red cards and people coming out this morning talking about points deductions and all this kind of thing. It's absolutely crazy. Look, the gaffer didn't act the way he should. He took his yellow card. I'm sure he's going to be in a little bit of trouble with the FA and the Refs Association and stuff like that. But the refs as well at times need to start looking at themselves as well, because the level of officiating in this league at the moment is absolutely deplorable. But let's look at team news anyway. So we know Bobby was there as well. Keita was supposed to be fitting or some muscle or problems. Let's see what happens there. Thiago will probably be out. So the question is, does he start Luis Diaz after taking that knock in the game, how he reacted? Or will we see Jota go back in there? Or will we see a different combination of Darwin and stuff like that? Amazing as Red fans at the moment, we're talking about how many options we have up front and stuff like that, where we've had none really all season, but now the options are in there. If you look at Fulham's team news, obviously Mitrovic is out as well. Kurzawa is out as well with a knee. Willian is a doubt with a thigh injury. Willian, really important player from this season, having a kind of a breakout season and a rejuvenation of his career really from where it had gone to and stuff. But a number of players out there. Dan James is battling probably to take Pereira's place. Played the other day and stuff like that. Didn't do himself any harm at all against Man City. Man City running out 2-1 winners, but fully had to earn it. Let's look at kind of lineups at the moment. If you look at Liverpool, as I said, I think they'll go with the same. Talk that Costas might come in. Again, Costas could be another one where he might want to have a look and gauge where it's at and stuff like that as we talk about this squad assessment. I think that's what's going on. So maybe Costas might come in from this game. Robbo again, just a little bit off at the other day and stuff like that, giving up the ball easily and then creating chances for Spurs and stuff like that. So he might come in. Jordan, I don't know whether he probably wants to start Jordan. I think he'll probably stay with Elliott, assuming he's okay, because I think he needs to assess these guys, as we said. And then it depends on what you want to go with up some front, but probably Salah, Gakpo and Jota, I would think. Again, trying to figure out that conundrum of Darwin. Darwin came on the other day, didn't really have the desired effect on the game that you would have wanted. But let's see what happens. We'll hear today, of course, the team news and all from the gaffer and get an update and stuff like that. He's absolutely going ballistic at the moment in relation to referees and stuff like that. And what did you make also of his talk? He was talking about these Twitter fans and stuff like that, not buying the players for the club and all that. And then the other day, post-match as well, talking about not wanting to sing his song and stuff like that. It's getting a little bit tetchy in there, isn't it? There's a little bit of pressure there getting ratcheted up maybe. I don't know, it's just, again, we spoke about it this season on a number of occasions, just some of the comments that are coming out just seem a little bit strange. Like a 3-0 up and coasting in the game after 15 minutes. Should the fans not be saying, we're so glad Jurgen is a red? You know what I mean? And then him coming out going, that's not the assessment of the game. It's not the assessment of the game and how it sort of ran out. But at that stage in the game, 3-0 up, 3 quick 4 goals after 15 minutes. We should be coasting through this game. And we really need to figure out and find out why are we getting this lapse of confidence and concentration at that point in the game and stuff like that. Giving the ball back to the opposition and stuff like that so easy. Not going about our business in the same way. You know the way in terms of City they would go on and score 4 and 5 and 6 and push it. We tend to go back into ourselves a little bit. And you know yourself, even at 3-0, if you give up an opportunity as we did before half time, they go in like with a lifeline, and then they came out and then, you know, Richarlison getting the equaliser, good lord, if that had been the way the game ran out, I would have been going ballistic. Everyone knows my thoughts on him as a player. But Jota coming up with the late one, of course, and the celebration was absolutely brilliant. But I mean, that should have never been a 4-3 game. And we really need to look at ourselves as to how we let that happen and grab hold of it a bit more. In terms of Fulham starting lineup, Leno's going to be in goals, Tete, Diop, Adarabio, Robinson, Reid, Palhina, who's a really dangerous player. He's one that did the damage in the first game at Craven Cottage start of the season. Kearney, Wilson, Vinicius, who got the goal the other day against Man City, very dangerous. And Solomon, we know his physicality and what he can do, so we're going to have to be careful of that. Something normally we would be okay, the size of Solomon and his physicality, we would look at the likes of Kanate and we would look at Van Dijk and we would say they can handle that no problem. But in recent weeks, this has been a problem when they've come up against physicality. Sometimes they just haven't fancied it, and they're going to need to fancy it on Wednesday night for it to get the win. So really, really important. What way do I see it going? I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Liverpool. I just look at Liverpool at the moment. I think especially if he goes in, will he go in with Konate and Van Dijk as the pairing at the back, or will he change it up? Konate the other day just looked really out of sorts. There was a kind of a lack of confidence, grabbing attackers and all that kind of stuff. Didn't seem himself. Van Dijk again off it as well. So will he change that up or won't he? Let's see what happens. But I'm going to go for a Liverpool 3-1 win. I think we will probably cough up a goal. I think that's been the nature of our game. But I think this is going to be one that's going to be more spread out like Spurs. I think we'll see a performance more spread in a better way across the 90 minutes rather than like a really, really good 20 minutes, half an hour and then a drop off and then defending and stuff like that. Fulham will come to play. They've had an outstanding season under Marco Silva. He's been a brilliant manager for them this season. Fell off a little bit there a while ago, as if the season kind of caught up with them, and of course losing their key man Mitrovic was absolutely huge. He was generally the danger week in, week out, along with Willian, who was said earlier was absolutely outstanding all season. But I think we're playing Fulham at a good time. It's Anfield. We have these run of home games as well. Fulham up next 3-1. Can we put 5 wins on the board, Reds? Reduce the gap to 4 against United, who play Brighton the next night. Heap that little bit of pressure on them, and let's see, can we just turn up that heat and see what way we can do. Let's see if we can keep this top 4 race alive. 5 games to go. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, Reds. This is the Shankly Session. I am, of course, Niall, your host. As always, if you could like on the video, subscribe and hit the bell notification on the channel, the upper tier. We really, really appreciate it. We're on the road to 700 subscribers. We'd like to get there before the end of the season. Naturally, we're on the road to try and get above the 1,000, but we will get there, there's no doubt about it. I will be back tomorrow night for a match reaction, probably around the 10 o'clock mark. It will be live, of course, so join me for that as always. I'm also live at 7 o'clock tomorrow evening on Dynamos Dozen. Check that out. If pro wrestling is your thing, you can see it all behind me here. If pro wrestling is your thing, Dynamos Dozen, 7 o'clock tomorrow. We're going to be talking the WWE draft. We're going to be talking the comments from Chavo Guerrero. We're going to be talking all things wrestling, and of course we're on the road to Puerto Rico. Backlash coming up this weekend. Folks, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Liverpool for the 5th win on the bounce. Who would have thought it with the season that we've had?